My name is Jose Oviedo. Welcome to Introduction to Public Speaking. Today I'll be talking about my thoughts on gun violence. During his inaugural speech in 1961, John F. Kennedy said, "My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." This time we listen to these words. It is time we stop repeating and engraving them in history. It is time we learn the meaning of this sentence and use it. President Kennedy did not say these words to make history. He, in fact, was trying to change it. He was imploring Americans to stop asking for change, to instead be the change. I introduced this idea to you today because the time to be a different type of American was yesterday. If from the first school shooting news that swept the nation and traumatized families, if Americans would have taken serious action then, Stoneman Douglas would have never happened. When statistics on gun violence are raised compared to other nations, America is simply at the bottom of the pool. Gun violence has become a real issue that must be dealt with. America's gun homicide is 25 times higher than the average of other high-income countries. It is tragic that across our northern border, murders in Canada per 100,000 residents is as low as 0.50. Meanwhile, right here in America, gun murders per 100,000 at a staggering 3.61. These number of gun murders are higher than any other nation. Therefore, something must be wrong. In addition to all this gun-related violence, we cannot forget the children and teens who pass away every day because of guns. According to the CDC, 7 children are killed with guns in the US on an average day. These are 7 children who had a future. 7 children who could have changed the future. 7 children who will no longer be with us in the future. So I challenge you today to ask yourself about tomorrow. Ask yourself, who will those 7 children be? A potential president? Or a close cousin? Or perhaps a nephew? Ask yourself if you're willing to let any of them go. When you have your answer, stand up, speak out. As Gandhi once said, be the change you want to see in the world. In the United States, African Americans have often drawn the short straw. And when it comes to gun violence, they were handed the short straw once again. Black Americans make up 14% of the population. However, they are victims to more than half of all gun homicides. According to Everytown research, this statistic is not only sad, it's also daunting. The numbers are so incredibly disturbed. It's time for everyone, but especially African Americans, to do a lot more about solving gun violence. Gun homicides per 100,000 men are 30.7 when it comes to Black Americans, but only 2.4 when it comes to white Americans. Change and admitting its faults are hard for our nation, but it is time. Ultimately, I leave you all with some facts that are difficult to process, but they are facts nonetheless. But let us all stop guns from taking innocent lives. Let us all save lives of children who may thrive if not for gun violence. Let us believe we have the power for change, because we do. We can be the change. So my fellow Americans, my fellow students, it is time. It's time for resolution. It is time to do for America what it could not do for us. Let's make America safer. God bless us all, and God bless America.